What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. My name is Gregson and welcome to Shifting Lanes. As you can see, well, hopefully you can see, I'm back in the Volvo V70R for another video. I haven't made, well, Shifting Lanes as a whole hasn't made another Volvo V70R project car video for about a month. We're waiting on parts. We plan to do some suspension work next, so stay tuned for that. We're just awaiting two front struts, two Monroe front struts. So, if you have any, brand new, let us know. We'll buy them from you. But we were working with FCP Euro on those as well, as we have in previous videos at a reduced cost. So trying to get those on hand. As soon as we do, we're going to be into the suspension work of this car to flatten it out, less body roll, and to lower it a little bit. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for who we're working with on those parts. For now, I thought it would be kind of a cool time to tell you a little bit about why we got this car and why we wanted to buy a Volvo for a tuner car, especially since no one else really does it. And through that, I'm going to tell you the 5 things that I love about this car, sort of how I've done a couple of my personal car reviews in the past. So, without further ado, here are my 5 things that I love about our 2004 Project Volvo V70R. All right, pulling away. First thing that I really love about this car, and probably the reason why I wanted to get this car for Shifting Lanes and why I pushed Chad and Hansen to get this, is the looks. I really do think this is one of the best looking wagons ever made. It's got a classic kind of, I know it's not a shooting brake, but it almost looks like a shooting brake to me. It's got this raked kind of back to it. It has a lower profile than a lot of wagons you see on the road. It has a bit of a road presence, almost, if you will. I mean, Volvos are famous for being crazy reliable, crazy safe, and their wagons are probably some of the cars, if not the cars, that really gave them that kind of stigma in the marketplace and in cars in general. So, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to do it, is it looks so cool, and for Volvo to design something that looked this beautiful, in my opinion, was really something that hadn't been done before. You know, the turbo bricks before it, the 740, the P1 version of this, the V70, that didn't have the lights that went out to the side, they just went straight down. Those were beautiful in their own right, but I think this was really, this really took the V70 and Volvo wagons to the next level. I think that this is probably one of the most beautiful cars that Volvo's ever made. The older wagons are really cool. The Amazon is amazing, but this looks incredible, and some of the B-roll we shot for when we did our first drive was amazing, and you probably just saw it as I looped it into this video as well, or at least some of it. But yeah, so a lot of what you hear in car culture and when buying cars is the outside draws you in, the inside is what sells the car. The outside of this car, the looks, really drew me to this car, and that is the number one thing what I loved about this car. Second thing I love about this car, the sound. It is a turbo 5-cylinder with 300 horsepower, 300 pound-foot of torque. I think it's 296 exactly. And when you hit it, it sounds incredible. It's got one of those raspy kind of engine notes that no other car has. This thing almost sounds like it has a supercharger, but it doesn't. And it just sounds so cool. I'm sitting at a red light, and when it turns, I'm gonna hammer it, and I'll show you what I mean. It sounds incredible. So here we go. It just sounds so great. It's one of those cars where when you do put an exhaust on it and you do put a an exhaust kit and a sound kit, like downpipe, midpipe, and any kind of pipe work along with the exhaust, and all the way up through the headers and turbo and engine, whatever, any work you do to make it sound better, it's just going to enhance it that much more. Some cars you throw exhausts on and whatever, and they don't sound great, or they sound almost the same, just louder. This car is not like that. It truly does sound epic when you put an exhaust on this car, and we're gonna do that. That is absolutely in the plans, hopefully sooner rather than later. And in a subsequent video, we'll show you what we mean, because it just sounds incredible. The 5-cylinder layout is, you know, it's an inline 5. It's very unique in that respect, and I think that I mean, it definitely gives it that strange kind of whiny sound a little bit, but it does sound super cool. It sounds super unique, and it just draws you in. So that was probably the second reason why I was drawn to this car as a project car, was because of how cool it sounded. Third thing I love about our Project Volvo V70R is the interior. It's really not in bad shape. There are some tears in the seat, but it's not tears from wearing of the actual leather. It's tears from the stitching kind of coming undone. So it's a 14-year-old car. Some cars have that happen, especially if they're daily drivers. According to the Carfax on this car, this was absolutely a daily driver for the person that owned it before. It was serviced at the same dealer for all 135,000 miles before I got it. So yeah, this thing was definitely someone's daily. It was in Pennsylvania, and that's where we picked it up from. So the interior in here really isn't bad at all as far as how a car wears 14 years on, outside of those little rips in the stitching. So the interior, Volvo is really known for creating these crazy comfortable seats, and I think one of the famous things that I was told by Brian Leon, who used to write for the New York Post, and now is off in Sweden getting his graduate degree. Shout out, Brian. He told me that they do more research on the seats than the actual car. So the seats have about 7 years of R&D behind them. The car has less than that. So I think that's hilarious. I don't entirely know if that's true, but given how comfortable these seats are 14 years on, I don't really, actually 13 years, sorry. I don't see that being an outlandish claim whatsoever. The seats are incredibly comfortable. The layout is very good. The materials still feel fine. There are creaks and pops and bangs and whistles and stuff, and you know, it's a 13, 14-year-old car, so that is to be expected. But you know, everything in here doesn't seem timeless. Doesn't seem classic, but it seems right for its time period, and it seems like it's wearing a lot better than a lot of cars in its time period. So kudos to Volvo for creating a really, really good interior with good materials, and it's just a really nice place to be. Pardon the stop, running a few errands. So thought this was a good time to make a video for you guys, especially since you guys haven't seen the car in a while and we haven't talked about it. So yeah, we still have this car. We have no plans on getting rid of it at all. That's one thing I'm gonna put in the 5 things I hate video. The turning circle in this car is worse than a yacht. All right, fourth thing that I love about this car is the power. 300 for pound-feet of torque and horsepower split. That's pretty impressive. 2004, I mean, you know, you still had M5s and stuff doing 400 or 500 horsepower and whatever. You had cars doing 400 and 500 and 600 horsepower back then still, but in a Volvo, not really known as a brand for performance, but to those that do know, putting out 300 horsepower in a, you know, enthusiast's dadwagon, that's pretty awesome. And this thing goes, it's not slow at all. This is an automatic, so it is slower than the manual, which we're going to rectify. That is getting a manual swap for sure. So yeah, I mean, it definitely moves. It is a very quick car for what it is. And I mean, we're all jaded by a lot of these times now. You know, the Tesla Model S new model, or not Tesla Model S, the new Tesla Roadster was just unveiled the other day. So when you're watching this is about the time frame that came out, and it has a claimed 0 to 60 time of 1.9 seconds. So we're jaded by all of these times now. This thing, I believe, has a 0 to 60 of 5.7 or 6.7 seconds, which in its own right is pretty quick. Now, this thing's it's not 4,000 pounds. It's not over 4,000 pounds. It's between 37 to 3,900 pounds. And that's pretty good. I mean, considering that you have all of these crossovers now that are doing 0 to 60 in, you know, more than that, you know, 7, 8, 9 second range, this thing, you know, it'll get up and go. And it's very surprising how fast this is. And you leave some cars at the line that I'm sure are shaking their heads saying, how in the holy hell is a Volvo wagon from yesteryear that fast? So because of that, that's another reason why we wanted to get this car. It's definitely quick. It's tunable. It's not crazy. You can't go crazy without really doing like an engine swap or anything. The T5 it has its limits, but you know, you can get 400, 450 horsepower to these things, and that's what we're going to try to do. So the power is another thing that kind of attracted us to this car. All right, we're going to pull out of this parking lot. I'm going to give you my final thing, which has absolutely nothing to do with performance. Okay, you ready? Here it is, number 5, cargo capacity. So bear with me for a second on this one, because this one kind of has a rant that goes along with it. I'm not going to have the full rant here. I'll probably write an article about it. Check us out at shiftinglanes.com, or go on Drive Tribe and search Shifting Lanes. And don't forget to sign up for Drive Tribe and subscribe to our tribe on there. We're not just a YouTube channel. We write articles literally every day about car news. We do car reviews and just about any automotive chatter within the industry. So the cargo capacity in here, this is a wagon. And wagons are awesome. Wagons are so cool. They really are. They are the cars that generations of people went on family road trips in, had amazing adventures in, and then all of a sudden we got SUVs and crossovers and pickup trucks, like SUVs too, but crossovers are, you know, they're not the greatest thing in the world as far as an enthusiast automobile is concerned. We all know that. They're good cars. Let's say, you know, let's leave it at that. Crossovers are good cars. They're going to be reliable. They're going to transport your family. They're going to be good daily drivers. Fine, whatever. Wagons are better than them. And in fact, a crossover really is just a wagon lifted. I mean, or a hatchback lifted. I really truly think America loves hatchbacks. They just don't realize it. Or I'm sorry, they love hatchbacks and wagons. They just don't realize it, because that's all crossovers are. It's that lifted seating position. I specifically prefer wagons because you get the lower to the ground kind of stance to it. I think that's safer. Sure, you don't get as much visibility as far as what's around you as if you were higher up in a crossover, an SUV, or a pickup. But I feel like if you know how to drive, you have more control the closer you are to the ground. You feel like you're more in tune with the car and the road. So that's why I like wagons. So with that said, the cargo capacity in here is pretty good. The rear seat room isn't great, and I'll mention that in my 5 things I hate about this car video, but the trunk is enormous. In the non-R versions of this car, and actually I think it was an option in some of the Rs, I'm not sure. If it was, comment below and let me know. You could get a 3rd row of seats in here. Now in the regular V70, I know it was an option, and I know that it came with it. I'm not sure about the Rs, but this was a 3-row seat car. You could fit 7 in here, not comfortably. You could probably throw the kids in the back. But yeah, I mean, you got a ton of space for what you were getting, and that is true throughout Volvo's history with their wagons. I mean, as everything got bigger, you can put more people in and whatever, and yada yada yada, but the cargo capacity in here is truly enormous, and that's what's great about wagons. You can have fun in wagons and hatchbacks, still get the utility, and still have like a sporty experience. The cargo capacity in here is really, really good, and you can still have fun in a car without having to sacrifice the higher seating position and everything that comes along with, you know, the soul sucking of a crossover, even back in 2004. All right, guys, well, that's it. these are the 5 things that I loved about this car when I bought it, and I still love all these things about this car. There are things that we don't like about this car, and by we, I mean it's all of us. Chad Hansen and I don't like about this car. I'll make that video just because, again, I have it in my driveway. It just happens to sit where I live, and I'll bring you that in a couple of weeks, and we can talk about those points as well, because there are some things that are wrong with this car, not just mechanically or whatever that we're going to fix, but there are some things that, you know, we don't like, or I don't like about it. You know, there's no such thing as a perfect car. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. We really do appreciate you guys watching these videos. We're not just the Volvo channel. I know you guys, a lot of you have subscribed to watch this car, and the genesis of this car is going to happen on this channel, and we will get there. Hopefully in 2018, we're gonna finish this thing and benchmark it against an E36. So keep watching for that, keep subscribing. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you're not new or new. That actually really helps us out on the YouTube algorithm, and that actually gives us more notoriety within the suggested video sections of other channels. So do us a favor, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and if you do hit subscribe, hit the little bell icon next to the subscribe button. That'll give you all of our notifications whenever we produce a video. We have some amazing reviews coming up too. We have incredible cars that we've been driving, so we want to show you everything that we've been doing that, you know, isn't just Volvo oriented. So we hope that you'll watch these videos and bear with us, that in the knowledge that, you know, we're not just about Volvos, we're about all cars, because we're enthusiasts, we love cars. So thank you again so much for watching, thank you so much for supporting us. Subscribe, like, it lets us make more videos like this for you. So until next time, my name is Gregson, thank you for watching Shifting Lanes, and I will see you later.